I originally came out here to take some pictures. Well, actually, I originally came out here just to, you know, come out here and enjoy the sun, enjoy the weather, enjoy the view, all of that. But I said I was also going to take some pictures, which I did take a few, and I might take a few more. I'm thinking about doing a video on how I take my Instagram pictures. I already have like a part 1 of that I filmed some time ago. I just didn't finish it, so I'm going to do the other parts, and then I'll worry about how I'm going to put those out. I also brought my notebook out here because, of course, if I have any thoughts that I want to jot down while I'm out here, I want to be able to do that. And already while I was out here, honeymoon, or the honeymoon phase, is pretty much what's coming to mind today. So I guess that's going to be the journaling topic for today, honeymoon phases, because that's kind of been a topic at hand lately. Yesterday I was on a live stream on Nashawn Clay's channel, and we was just, you know, the conversations or the topics, they were deep, but they weren't like extremely deep. We was talking more about like relationships with others. This can be as far as friendships or dating. Some of the things, I actually journaled about it, because I even said in the chat, I was like, I'm about to journal about this because this is a really good live stream. This is really good topics that we're talking about. While on Nashawn Clay's live, we started to talk about infatuation, love, and attraction. We talked about other things too, but those was like the main 3 that we was discussing at the time I was journaling. Like love and evil and opposites attracting, or attracting what or who we are. And I said, like, yes, they say love is a drug. They say love can be evil. They say, you know, it's evil spelled backwards and all that. And so it's, yeah, that's true. But it can also help you evolve. Nashawn says she believes love is love and evil is evil. But the way love can be evil is too much of anything can be detrimental. You can love things that aren't good for you or others around you. And they say the things people do for love, or the things people do for money and love, like people will do the craziest things for that. As far as attraction, I feel like we can attract the state of being we are in. It doesn't have to be an exact thing you attract back, but you can attract that energy. We can also attract mirrors. People that become mirrors to the things we are blind to, or turning a blind eye to ourselves. So with that part, it was, well, it's really self-explanatory. Like, most people know that we mirror each other, like in relationships or just anybody. A lot of times we can project onto others, but being that mirror to each other, I don't think some people realize that when somebody else is doing something that is bothering us or whatever, it can literally be a mirror to a side of us that we are neglecting or turning a blind eye to, like trying to keep underneath the wraps. And then I said, Nashawn asked what infatuation was, and I basically see infatuation as an illusion of love. It's strong, like, okay, so like, it's a strong like or lust for someone instead of love, but you think it's love because it's so intense. A strong like and lust for someone before those rose-colored glasses come off. There go those rose-colored glasses again. I also kind of wrote about honeymoon phases on here too. I said, think of it like the honeymoon phase of a relationship. So I guess that's kind of why my mind kind of went back to that honeymoon phase thing, because that's just been something that's been going on a lot recently. Like on the live, we was talking about how when you meet someone you really like, you're going to go through that honeymoon phase, and then eventually you're going to see, okay, it ain't all peaches and cream, but you have to decide who you're willing to go through, you know, all those things that come after the honeymoon phase with. Because sometimes we can meet somebody we really like and we feel like this is the one, because we're in that honeymoon phase, of course, and everything's, you know, in the beginning everything's all good. Well, in most cases. In some cases, even in the beginning, it's horrible, and red flags after red flags that you should have been gone past, way before the honeymoon phase was over. But then, you know, after some time goes on, you start to see those flaws in each other. You start to see what kind of bothers you about the other person. You kind of start to see how that other person can annoy you, and especially if y'all spend so much time together, then you're definitely going to start seeing those things. But it's just like, are you willing to go through these ups and downs with this person? Because of course every relationship is going to have its ups and downs. There's not going to be a perfect relationship that does not go through anything ever. So what are you willing to deal with all of that with? So to end it off, I wrote, this was one of the best live streams I have been in a while, as far as topic and conversation goes. There was a sense of connection, relating, and learning in such a friendly nature. Everybody was like, we should do this again, and I agree. I would love to do that again. This is also kind of getting me back into that groove of like talking to others, connecting with others, period. Because like I used to, like on Dolo's channel, Dolo the Pilot Man, I used to be in all of his lives. I wasn't really active in there ever. You know, I would say hey or something every now and then and put an emoji to let it be known that I was there. But then I kind of just pulled back as far as communicating in the live streams. Like I would still be there, but even back then, like I made sure I was there as soon as the live went up. But now it's just like, you know, I'll catch the live stream after it's over if I need to. Like if I'm busy doing something else, I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing to make sure I catch a live stream, whether it's Dolo's or anybody's. But you know, if I'm not doing anything, then you know, I'll hop on. But now I'm getting into that place where I feel like I'm getting back more comfortable to hop on and actually let it be known that I'm there instead of just watching. Like I can get on there and say some stuff now. So far I'm starting to see movement again, because everything was really like kind of flat and stagnant at first. So I'm seeing that movement, I'm feeling that growth, and that's all, you know, that's all that matters there. I'm happy about that. And I put NW. So like y'all probably know now, I like to start off by just jotting down words and phrases. I was trying to write new and I put NW. I feel like I've already written this before somewhere, so I'm gonna have to look through my notes, because maybe I can pull everything that I've already written about this together to create one cohesive poem or piece, whatever. But like I've said this phrase before or something, new moons, new moods, or new moon, new mood. Think of the honeymoon phase, it's like honey, it's quote unquote sweet, and in the beginning of those relationships it's all fun and games and sweet and all of that in the beginning, and then it gets surreal. New moon, new mood, sweet tooth. I don't know, my mind just be wanting to rhyme with things, so everything just wants to sound poetic. So if that's what wants to come to me, then I'm gonna go ahead and write tooth down too. At first I was just trying to go with the word sweet, but saying sweet, now I want to put sweet tooth just because it kind of flows together. New moon, new mood, sweet tooth. It's kind of windy out here now, so it's not as hot as it was at first. Like my back is not hot anymore, but it keeps on blowing the pages everywhere. I can't think of any more words right now to jot down, so I'm just gonna kind of write what flows out of my mind right now about honeymoon phases. So I'm trying to tie it together with the moon in general and like with the moon phases in general, so I'm gonna have to tie that in somehow. We started out with the new moon, of course, and of course it's like new feelings developing. That's the new moods part. Full moon, honeymoon, emotions and feelings start to drip, shedding light before it ends and goes completely dark again. A different phase, yet still the same. A different name of the phase, a different sign, but you still don't see it coming. Or you choose not to because you'd rather for things to stay sweet and fresh. So that's just part of what I have written down so far. I think I'm gonna sit here and think a little bit more. I can't even see. my screen looks completely black right now, so I don't know what y'all seeing. Hopefully y'all see me. So I started to think about books. I know that's totally different from moon phases and things. So how'd I go from moon phases to books now? Well, I was just thinking about, again, the same thing with the honeymoon phases and relationships and things like that. But for some reason I started thinking about like being on the same page as someone. Like, do you really have to be on the same page as someone to be in a relationship with them? Like, do you really have to be in a relationship with someone that y'all are doing the same things or very similar things, or y'all are, I don't know, y'all are working towards the same goals? Does it necessarily have to be like that in order for it to work? And I started to think like, you don't necessarily have to be on the same page. You might need to be in the same book for the relationship to work, be in the same book at least, but y'all don't have to be on the same page together. And if you are on the same page together, y'all don't have to be the same sentence, y'all don't have to be the same paragraph. I know how this sounds. I know it probably sounds like I'm going a little too far-fetched, but it makes sense in a way. Like, you can be on the same page with your partner, but you know, your partner is on the sentence in the beginning and maybe you're on a sentence in the middle, or a paragraph in the beginning and you're on a paragraph in the middle or the end. But each of those sentences, each of your sentences or each of your paragraphs still come together in a way that it supports each other. Y'all support each other in a way that it still comes together to support a whole. That can be the common goal or whatever. It still supports the story, or it still supports that chapter of the story. So here's what I wrote. Maybe I can just read what I was journaling about it, and that can make a little bit more sense. Do we always have to be on the same page, even in the same book? In relationships, I do feel like you should be in the same book, but you don't necessarily have to be on the same page. Even when you are on the same page, you don't have to be in the same sentence or paragraph. But you each still come and bring things together that supports each other and the page or chapter as a whole. So I guess, I said the same thing as when I read the entry, but when you think about it in the way, like I said, like even in a book, you know, there's so many sentences, there's a few paragraphs on the page, so each sentence is not the same, each paragraph is not the same, but each of them support each other to make that whole page flow together as a part of the story, as a part of that chapter of the story as a whole. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking about the different books part too. Like, okay, I still feel like y'all should probably be in the same book at least. But when you think about it, like some books, even like movies and things like that, there's a series. So maybe, you know, book one is the series about this partner's life, and you still have a little influence and a guest appearance or whatever from your partner into that first book. And then when it goes to the second book, maybe that's about the other partner's, you know, a chapter of the other partner's life. And, you know, of course, the person from the first book, they still make guest appearances, and it still flows together in that way to create a whole series. So I don't know if that might be a little too far-fetched, but in a way that kind of makes sense as well. So I don't know, it's weird how you can correlate and relate certain things together, and it just really gets you thinking.